First of all, Frank, thank you very much for agreeing to speak to us. Can you tell us a little bit more about your role within the company, your key responsibilities, and your main areas of focus over the next 12 to 36 months, please?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm currently in the chemical production industry, performance composites. So Gurit Services, it's a mid-sized company based in Switzerland, headquartered in Switzerland, and we have production sites in all of the different continents, so from Canada through Europe to China. And one of the major challenges is, of course, I'm responsible for the wind energy area. It's a very volatile industry, so you have to deal basically with changes in the demand of the customers. So we have to be very cautious on the cash flow management, and therefore we're looking into how we manage in the best way also our current assets to generate cash flow and to improve also the situation with our key performance indicators.
How can CFOs ensure there is a consistent flow of funds and there is an optimum level of capital in the business?
That is, of course, always a challenge. Then, I don't want to see what different ways you have of funding the company through banks, and that is the traditional way you're doing it. On the other hand, due to my background in the supply chain industry, I learned a lot about how you can optimize basically the financing of your current assets. On the one hand, you have inventories. You can work with models where you have consignment stocks, so you use the raw materials as you need it. But there are much more sophisticated ways of doing it than also logistics service providers basically taking up the ownership of your current assets, of your inventory, and they even offer you some financing options together with a third-party bank, which is quite beneficial to reduce basically on the one hand your requirements for funding and improve your cash flow.
Can you tell us a little bit more about asset management initiatives as well as any alternative financing options that you're currently pursuing at the moment?
First of all, what is quite important that the CFO is really understanding the complete supply chain of the company. What I have observed that we tend to work in silos. So you have procurement and you have logistics supply chain, and then you have the finance functions. But what is missing is basically the optimal use of supply chain financial indicators. So that means, in other words, what is the impact of certain procurement activities on your financial results? That can be related to hedging opportunities so that you avoid risk with currencies. It can also be related to the supply chain, where you basically consider outsourcing on the one hand of as an indicator of inventory, but also of warehouse centers to create out of fixed costs flexible and variable costs. And this has to be much more explored.
Can you tell us a little bit more about alternative asset financing and funding options you're currently pursuing for your business?
So first of all, we have to look very carefully how the market, our customers are developing, that we make the right planning assumptions. Secondly, I will work closely with our procurement director to see what creative possibilities and negotiation with suppliers he can do to get more raw materials on consignment, and also to see what hedging possibilities we have. Secondly, we will definitely focus the negotiations with logistics providers if they are offering us solutions in the different regions that they really take over for us. On the one hand, offering warehousing services, but also taking over inventory from us and also offering us finance possibilities with third parties to increase our flexibility for our cash flow management.
My final question to you is, what advice do you have for CFOs who've moved from a larger business to a mid-sized business? What tips would you give them?
You definitely have to be much more hands-on. So you have to get more involved in the details. And you have to observe carefully that you will not get filled up with all the day-to-day business, that you still can focus on the big picture to implement really value-added services for the company.